everyone, it's Crystal, and this is my first response video, and I will be talking about Between Shades of Grey, and specifically Mark's post about this. I really liked some of the things that he said, specifically about names and the author's choice to name certain characters while leaving other characters without names. But Lena has a way of describing them, like the repeater, the grouchy woman, the bald man, the gray-haired man who wound his watch. You know, those characteristics seem really human. We as readers can associate those characteristics with people that we know, and it makes it easier for us to imagine what these characters look like. And other characters like Colloquy, for instance, he gets a name pretty early on, actually. I think the author was trying to comment on names as a form of identity and human value, and I think that it's really, really worth looking into. So some of the things that Mark specifically said was that it seems like she's asserting value to the Lithuanians that she doesn't name. And I think that this is true because in the epilogue, she writes, "Even now, speaking of the terrors we have experienced would result in our death." And I think that if she was to make the choice to name the gray-haired man or the grouchy woman, if she would have named those characters, I think it would have actually instilled a sense of danger for those characters. Lena's family was arrested for something her father did to help someone else. Lena had nothing to do with that, but she was still arrested because she was connected to him. And I think that if Lena made the choice to name the people around her in this text, then there was the possibility that their family or their friends could have suffered. Mark said that by describing these characters, that she is associating human characteristics to them. And the characters that do get names, like the soldiers, their names actually have a tendency to make them anonymous by being surrounded by all these characters that have such human qualities that readers can really imagine and can associate with people that they know, and they can put faces to these people without names, these Lithuanians. But to someone like Colloquy, maybe they can't picture as easily. He also had a really interesting point where he was talking about how the Vilkas family actually ends up becoming grouped together underneath the family name as like an umbrella name. And it was kind of in a similar way that the Lithuanians who were arrested were all packed into the train that had the sign prostitutes and thieves on the side of it. It's kind of grouping them together because even though Vilkas is their family name, it's not their personal name. Lena's not called Vilkas, she's called Lena. And by the soldiers referring to her family as Vilkas in general, attempts to take away their sense of identity, I think. But Lena preserves that by keeping her name, by assigning human characteristics to the other Lithuanians whom the Soviet soldiers have attempted to strip away their identities as well. And I think in the case of Nikolai Colloquy, for the most part, we never know his first name. He's always referred to his last name. And then when they get to their final prison camp, Lena's mother calls him Nikolai for the first time that we know of in the text. And I think that when Lena is trying to take care of her mother, and then after her mother dies and she, you know, has the funeral and stuff like that, she realizes how her mother has touched other people's lives, even Nikolai's. And he ends up becoming more human because of her mother. When she goes to get the firewood, he confronts her, and they end up talking, and she tells him that she hates him, and she realizes that he actually hates himself too, and he saw her mother very similarly to his own mother. I'm not going to try to say this Russian word, but it was the word that Lena was supposed to learn on her own, and it means beautiful but with strength, unique. And I think that's a very, very good word to apply to all the Lithuanians who the text seems to protect them by not naming them in general. They're beautiful. They have strength because they want to survive. And they're all unique. They are unique individuals. There's a grouchy woman. There's a gray-haired man who wound his watch. There's a bald man who broke his leg. All these characteristics essentially name them while also protecting them. And I think that's really interesting how this text goes about to assign value, like Mark said, and while also giving us a vivid picture of what's going on and a sense of safety as well. And I think that's it. That's all I have to talk about. I loved Mark's post, and I like to see more of the campus because what he showed us was actually really pretty. So I will see you guys later. Bye.